So this is 2 of 4, and today is I'm discussing the non-negotiable way your signature work requires you to think starting now, or you continue to, or start to degenerate. As I, prepare to be here and I look at this, I am so reminded of how niche, I'm calling it deep niche now, how deep niche this is. And I just really want to have you not waste time if this is not for you, because this is really for what I call fellow masters, folks of us who know. And our job really is to identify that knowing, identify what's signature about it, how it serves, which oftentimes happens through testing out, bringing it to the marketplace. And then bringing it to the market. First of all, getting correct within yourself and knowing the value of what it is that you're bringing, and that this is your pristine, this is your signature work that you are meant to bring. Meaning, if you don't bring it, it doesn't get brought. If you don't give it, it doesn't get given. It's not like somebody else can come and give it. You are endowed with it, and your job is to find your way to bring it to the marketplace powerfully and profitably. And so I just want to be clear about who this is for. This is not about, your typical coach or practitioner who's just looking to get more clients, or, you know what I mean. This is really for those of us who have, just have known things that weren't in books, that weren't transferred through some story, whether an orated story or a written story. We have always been very different, and the reason why that has been is because it's like the reminder that we are meant to construct worlds. We are meant to construct worlds that don't currently exist on the physical plane, but they exist in the non-physical plane, and our job is to take our earthly bodies, our earthly brains, tap into the signature intelligence that we have, and then bring it into the world in a physical way, so that those who are specifically meant to benefit from it in a high way actually get a chance to benefit from it. And that only can happen through you as a master. That can only happen through me as a master. And so this is, my experience has been, this has been very difficult for masters to really dedicate themselves to over the long term and actually become profitable, because nobody is talking about this. And one of the things that I know masters have to get their head around is being the first. You are the first. You are the leader. Whoever is there, I'd love for you to, engage, give. It's like a give back, a give and a give back. It feels good, say hi, what's up? You got questions or things you want to say about what it is that I'm talking about. And that's been my experience too. When you're the first one and no one is talking about this thing that you have known for a while. And over the years, on my own path as a transformational leader, that's one of the titles that I've been using because people seem to get it on some level. But we are like part alien, part human. We are, we're walking gods in these human bodies. And one of the things that really helps, and I'm going to talk about this more either tomorrow or Thursday, is looking at your Facebook memories. Like if you've been on Facebook for the last 5 years, where do you notice themes in what it is that you have to share? Like where do you notice themes in what it is that you knowings that you've had, and you see something from 4 years ago, from 5 years ago, and you see you were saying it last year, and you see that you're saying it again this year. That's a real information that gives you a theme, right? You can start to catch themes of what's been consistent within you. That's one of the ways to really identify what's your signature thing. So anyway, I'll talk more about that tomorrow or Friday. But there's a way now that's so important for us to think, and this is going to require such practice. And this is actually what we're going to be discussing in our dialogue between masters starting next Monday, and how to really start doing this and leveraging the power of community to do this versus just going off in your corner at home and trying to, use will and whatever else you may be using, especially if you're new to this, if you're new to really stepping into this kind of power, cultivating this kind of power. But there's a tone. So this is the real point. You might catch another point for yourself. And that's fine too. The point I'm really the chief point that I'm looking to articulate with this topic today of the non-negotiable way, your signature work requires you to think starting now, or you'll continue or start to degenerate, is there is a frequency, and you'll notice a theme too in this 4-part that I'm going through, because I spoke a little bit about this yesterday, that there is a frequency to your signature work. It has a tone to it. It has its own musical play. It has its own intelligence, its own sound, its own codes. And your job is to take your existing self, which, you know, Lord knows how your existing self is now, right? If you're, just coming to a place where you recognize that you got to get so sharp in your personhood and so lasered on who you are and who it is that you're meant to serve. It's just really, it's like forced deep, forcing yourself to go deep, which is a really good thing. Getting narrow and, there's so much power there. And so your job, is just required. This is not something that's optional. I'm telling you, this is not optional. If you're truly, if you're somebody, if you're going to bring your signature work into the world, like this thing that you're endowed with, that nobody else has, you got to get your head around that nobody else has. It doesn't transfer. Elizabeth Gilbert talks about ideas, being dropped into one person's consciousness, and if they don't do anything about it, it leaves that person and then sort of like drips on the next person, and then you'll hear like 5 people being like, oh, I had that idea. Yeah, ideas work like that, but signature work does not. Signature work is something only you have, and another master has, and I have. Each master has their own signature work. And so your job now is to really start to think most of the time, because you're human, right? There's imperfection. But most of the time, your mind now must think in the ways that match the frequency of your signature work. That's where there starts to be a dance. There starts to be a harmony. And so your signature work, because it's already in you, it's already speaking to you. It's the thing that has you feeling weird, right? When you get you get out of alignment, you get out of the way of like the direction you're supposed to go, especially as you get older, because your signature work has been with you since forever. It's not a new thing. It's just as you get older, and especially as your brain starts to do the time thing, because only the brain measures time. The mind does not measure time. So when you start to consider mortality, and you start to really, you've lived long enough to start to have enough years behind you to be able to look back and to really reflect. And, you start to get hit with this thing that maybe was with you in your heart 20 years ago. And you push it to the side. You didn't take it serious. There was nobody around you helping you cultivate your voice and your power. And you were weird and you didn't fit in. And it was just too painful to even really be the first, to be the only one. And so now what's required in your, more mature years, and as you're starting to like really feel the feelings of having this colossal signature work inside of you, and yet doing nothing about it, and the pain that comes with that, pain in the body, feeling high discontent, high anxiety, insomnia, going mad, like all of these are indicators of your signature work, like beating to come out. And so eventually you'll be forced to, if you don't kill yourself first, you'll be forced to come get super narrow and start to listen to the frequency of the signature work. Really listen to it, because it's very clear. When you get courageous enough to really listen to, hi, who's there? Say hi. To really listen to the tone and the language of the signature work, and then have the audacity to bring that to the marketplace in a powerful way. And that's what Dialogue Between Masters is helping you to do starting next Monday. This is unlike anything that exists. And I'm not just saying that because I wanted to appear special. This is signature work for me, to even recognize us as masters, even with your flaws. Look, you've been here for a long time. Nobody has even spoken to you in the way that I'm speaking to you. The status quo has no idea how to even look at you, how to be with you, how to understand you. So of course, you're like, what? Like, even within myself, to even come and bring this out, it's taken me time to get here, and I've been visible for years, for those of you who've been following me for a while. However, the deep niche is where the power becomes exponential. The deep niche where you're only and exclusively talking to who it is that you're supposed to be talking to, not the everybody's, not all women entrepreneurs, not all leaders, not all, right? But you really niche it down, where it's just like that person was born to work with you and you were born to work with them. And that's what I call deep niche. And that's what your signature work is for. And that's what Dialogue Between Masters is helping you to cultivate. Really cultivate that internal power that's going to be necessary for you to steward this work publicly and powerfully. And then making sure you're getting paid the money that your signature work is meant to be paid. So inbox me here on Facebook or wherever it is that you're going to be watching this video if you have questions or to register. We start next Monday. It's 4 consecutive Mondays. We're going to go into what I'm talking about here, plus the other things that I'm talking about, because this is 2 of 4. The investment is $1,100. And so inbox me and we'll take it from there.